Hello, and welcome to the fourth and final episode in our Core Web Vitals month series. Today, we're going to be looking at the Core Web Vitals and how we can distinguish our customers' digital experience from our competitors, whilst giving our customers the best possible experience they can have when they visit our website. In this session, we're going to go over a brief recap of what the Core Web Vitals are. We're going to set some expectations as to the digital experience that the customers are looking for in 2023. Next, look into how reporting within the Blue Triangle portal can reveal insights about your site and where your digital metrics sit alongside your competitors. We'll go through some real-world examples of how the digital experience that some competitors give currently differ. Jump into configuring two reports, one of which is our brand new Core Web Vitals report that can begin to help you surface areas of optimization for your site. And finally, with everything that you learned today, we're going to challenge you to take action on a single Core Web Vital each month, as well as sharing our contact details at the end if you wish to leverage our superb customer success organization to help get started or optimize the great work you're currently doing already. First, a quick introduction. So my name's Kieran. I'm a customer success manager at Blue Triangle, currently looking after the EMEA region. As a CSM, my typical week consists of providing product training, meeting with customers to go over analysis, configuring customizable dashboards tailored to certain job roles, and generally just helping customers achieve technical success with our product. Currently work with teams from marketing all the way to development, and we're here to really help foster an environment of continuous experience optimization, so your users are actually getting the best experience they can when they visit your digital domain. So really, there's three main takeaways from today's session, and they all revolve around looking inward, that is at your own site, and outward, that is your competitors, to see where your Core Web Vital scores currently sit. We're going to go over how defining reports can help you surface where you sit amongst your competitors, and also show how you can gain some actionable intelligence there. With our overall aim to improve our users' experience on the page, and most importantly, improving how Google sees us through their lens, which of course impacts how your SEO rankings are determined. After all, our Core Web Vitals scores may be great, but what if our competitors are currently leaving us in the dust when it comes to users that are searching generic terms in Google? In the first three sessions, we focus on the Core Web Vitals. These are technical metrics set out by Google that, once optimized, help you to provide your customers with a smooth user experience on your website. They also affect how Google sees you as of 2020 when they started to play a factor in the SEO rankings. The first, largest contentful paint, focuses on site load performance. So when is the largest piece of content rendered for your user? First input delay measures how responsive your web page is to that first user interaction. And finally, cumulative layout shift measures how visually stable your page is when it is loading in for your users. We have help articles and previous training that do a deep dive into these and really recommend some best practices when it comes to optimizing them. So before we start taking a deeper dive into our own Core Web Vitals and our competitors' Core Web Vitals, I want to start today with setting expectations of what a customer expects from a digital experience in the current year. I want to start today with a quote from Amazon's job portal. And that is, leaders start with the customer and work backwards. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust, and although leaders pay attention to competitors, they obsess over their customers. That is to say, we can look at our competitors all day long, but the end goal is looking within at our own site and improving our customers' digital experience to remove friction from their journey. Now, Amazon started as an online-only business. This means that every single impression of the business that any user ever had came from the moment a user requests the web page to the moment they leave the site. Now, Amazon knows this, and they really obsess over providing their customers with a good experience on all fronts. Customers have now really developed this Amazonian expectation for digital experience, and that Amazonian experience is fast and reliable websites, available 24/7, 365. They provide a quick and straightforward way to transact, refund, and repeat purchase, all whilst remembering your preferences and reducing friction all the way along that journey. So, using Amazon as an example, how do we start to understand the experiences that users are getting when they're visiting our competitors' websites? Enter Google and Blue Triangle. Google publishes a Chrome user experience report, and this is a data set that provides real user experience metrics for how a subset of Chrome users, those that have opted into data collection through Chrome browser settings, experience your website by URL and device, so desktop and mobile. It's actually the official data set of the Core Web Vitals program, and this is the data that you'll be accessing when running a Page Speed Insights report. Blue Triangle have actually developed the ability to capture and archive Google's data from within the Blue Triangle portal itself. To configure this within Blue Triangle, you'll provide a list of site names, page categories, paste the URLs in for each site you want to monitor. And a regular example that we sort of see is looking at our customer's homepage, our customer's category page, and their product page against that of the competition. And that's what you can see here. Blue Triangle then uses Google's raw numbers, which you can see in the bottom half of the page, and gives them a rank. That's what you can see in this table here. And the best to worst rank is how Blue Triangle ranks you within this cohort of sites that you define. Now, this report doesn't only highlight areas you're doing well in according to Google's thresholds and numbers with real user data, but it also provides an opportunity to see areas for potential improvement. It allows you to really see the barriers that users are encountering across your site and also by device, because we know that those experiences can differ greatly. Now, because we're querying and storing the data on a daily basis, the data can actually be accessed longer than is publicly accessible using Google, and this can be useful for performing retrospective as well as competitive analysis on peak periods such as Black Friday, maybe Christmas, or back to school if that's where your niche's peak period is. Having this CrUX report configures provides a great timeline as to the experience that real users are actually having on your site, as well as your competitors, most importantly. So how do we go about making sense of the numbers that Google provides and that Blue Triangle archives for you? Unless I'm investigating something specific, the process that I usually go through after configuring a report, which heads up you'll need an account admin to help with, is really zoom straight to the higher levels. So let's take an example persona. I'm an Amazon non-technical product owner focusing on the delivery of the home decor section of the site. I've decided to look at the home page, the category, and the product page for ourselves and some of our top competitors, so Walmart, Costco, and Flipkart. At a high level, we can see that Amazon and its competitors generally have pretty responsive sites according to their first input delay scores. This is when the web page first responds to user input or how long that takes. However, where there's more variability is the actual content loading speeds and also the visual stability of the page as it does load through the cumulative layout shift scores. We can see that Amazon is delivering the most important content to its users in a timely manner via the largest contentful paint metric. But if I was performing a competitive analysis through the lens or with Amazon, I'd be interested in why my product page score was 1, not in line with my other superb page performance, and 2, most importantly, why it's behind Walmart. To share a real-world example, I've used the executive CrUX reports that we see here to identify one of the core vitals that one of my customers was actually performing poorly in compared to their top competitors as defined by them. Now we spun up some synthetic monitors. These are agents and bots that can ping yours or your competitors' websites and record data about how the page is loading. And we used the results here to understand the technical reason behind the gap. It was in fact actually the exact same technology being utilized by our customer and our competitor, but they were actually implemented in a different way. So after some configuration changes, we closed this gap, the cumulative layout shift score gap, especially as all of the other core web vitals were performing well within Google's thresholds. This helped us close the gap overall between ourselves and our competitors. So if I was Amazon, how might I go about investigating and monitoring this within the Blue Triangle portal? So Blue Triangle really enables you to surface and dig into why the core web vital scores are what they are. So let's have a look at our loading metrics for the Amazon and Walmart homepage on the left here. So I've taken images from our film strips feature within the synthetic monitors. They take a screenshot of the page load every 250 milliseconds. And what I've done is I've placed 4 frames of Amazon and Walmart homepage loading in side by side. Now we can really see quite quickly exactly how visually stable each page is. Also, as well as where visually the largest piece of content is loading for your users. And behind the scenes, there's also a lot of technical data that we can dig into to provide the breakdowns of what's actually driving these core vital scores using Google's recommended methods and code. This is code that digs into the subparts of each of these metrics to tell you in greater detail where to optimize. So for your largest contentful paint, is your largest contentful paint taking a while to get from your server to us, or is it a piece of JavaScript that's blocking the rendering of that content on the page? And let's have a look at our first input delay metric. We can have a real good look into what's causing the web page to be busy in the background as your page is constructed using the synthetic aggregate waterfalls function tracing feature. What this allows us to do is trend all resource and content that's loading on the page, including long-running JavaScript or images or CSS, if you utilize our synthetic monitors. Once we've identified areas of potential improvement, of course, you'll then implement those changes within your website, and then you can come back into Blue Triangle to verify with real user data, not just synthetics, the impact on our web page load or our core web vitals. In our past sessions, we've covered how you might surface these differences using the various features mentioned above and many, many more. So make sure to check out those sessions and also our Help Center, because they really do go into great depth about the impact that these reports can have on your organization. If you have any further questions as to configuration or how you can get the most power out of these features, definitely get in touch with our customer success team. We are more than happy to help. So how do we go about surfacing our poor core web vital scores across the site so we can prioritize optimizing the metrics that are most important to us? Within Blue Triangle, you can set up reports to be delivered to you automatically on a regularly occurring basis, that is daily, weekly, or monthly. And best of all, you don't even actually need an account within the portal, just an email address. There's a report for virtually every use case, so if you want to look at the real user performance by page, if you're more interested in your API availability, or if you're on the marketing team and you want to have a look at your bounce and exit analysis, there's a report for you. Today, we're specifically going to cover the brand new Core Web Vitals report and another super handy report to get a 50,000 foot view of how your site is performing across various metrics, the core metrics by site report. We're going to walk through each of the reports and how to set up one for yourself and others. So load up your portal right now, walk through it with us, and we'll teach you how to automate your analytics reporting within Blue Triangle. It really does take minutes. And here we are in the automated report section of the portal. Now, to get here, you click the menu in the top left, go to Alerts and Automated Reports, and then hit Automated Reports. Once you're here, click Create Automated Report. Today, we're interested in configuring a report for real user data. And then scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see our brand new Core Web Vitals report. Click through there. And now you can start to configure the finer details of the report. Your report time period is how many days of an average the report will take. You'll want to define the frequency, so how many days or hours the email is reported to you. I'm going to say I want this email every week, so I'm going to change that to 7 days. You want to put your recipients in. Remember that you can use mailing groups here, and if you want to submit multiple recipients, then just use a comma separated list. Next, you want to define your subject line. And finally, we want to select our sites and also the displayed metrics. Now today I'm going to select all of them because I'm interested in site speed performance as well as my Core Web Vital score performance. I click next. And this fourth and final piece of the config is actually the most powerful part of the report. This is where you can drill down on any particular traffic segments you're interested in. So you may be more interested in mobile traffic or desktop traffic, depending on your specific job role. Now today, I'm going to take the persona of a web developer who's looking into the experience that a user receives once they're logged into our website. So in order to filter down there, I'm going to select all of the account-related pages. I can go through and search through my page names here, and then I can select the page names. Once I've done that, like we said, we can specify by device. We can even go down to specific operating systems or browsers. And then we can choose our geography as well. So once that's done, you want to hit create. And there you go. It's as simple as that. You know, we really recommend getting one of these configured because it takes only a couple of minutes, but it can provide quite a lot of value to you. So if you want an instant view of this report, you can click generate report. And then this will send it to any recipients within around about 10 minutes. But of course, we're prepared. We've got one here ready for today. And here is one I prepared earlier. So what we can see here at a high level is our brand new Core Web Vitals report. It gives you a high level view, remembering my persona as a web developer looking at the account area of my site, as to all of the Core Web Vitals and site speed in the current day, so whenever I receive the report, compared to a 7-day average. How do we go about surfacing areas of friction with this report? So a handy tip that I have is have a look at the column and have a look at the row. So we can have a look here and see that the account dashboard row is all red. What does this actually mean? Well, we can see that our current day, the date of the report, is being compared to that 7-day average. And a red box highlights that this value is actually worse than the 7-day average, with a green box highlighting that the score is better than a 7-day average. Now, let's take an example here. Cumulative layout shift, according to Google, a good score is 0.1. So what we're not saying is that this is a good metric by Google standards, but that it's getting better compared to your 7-day average. So let's go back to that example, that red row on account dashboard page. We can see here that users are getting a poor experience when it comes to the onload, the largest contentful paint, cumulative layout shift, and also the first input delay across the account dashboard page. So they're getting a poor experience, and it's poor compared to that 7-day average. Whereas if we have a look at the account profile page, we can see that marginally across a couple of these metrics, this page has actually been improving compared to that 7-day average. So your row is what you look at for the page performance, and actually the column, another handy tip, is what you look at for a site-wide view of how you're performing within that metric. So as you can see here, your onload, your largest contentful paint, and your cumulative layout shift generally have been trending in the green, because we can see that there's a large number of green in each column. And this means that we are getting better across those metrics across our site. So green column is good. Red column indicates that there's an issue across the site for that particular metric. Let's take first input delay as an example. You can see here that there's 4 red boxes, and this indicates to me as a web developer that we potentially need to focus some efforts here into understanding why the first input delay score has gotten worse across the site relative to the other metrics. Conversely, using the row method, we can actually go in and see that me as a developer or as an organization want to invest time in understanding why the account dashboard page has got a poor experience and why that has changed over the last 7 days. This report really is good for that 50,000 foot view. And once you know that column and row method, you can start to understand what's happening on your site across any page that you're interested in. It doesn't have to be limited to this account area. This is just an example of what one persona may do. You also have options to export it as well. So if you're interested in doing data analysis and providing those figures to people outside of the portal, then that is a handy tip for you there. So you saw how easy it was. Get one of these configured, get in the portal, and see what insights you can surface using this report. And the second insanely helpful report that we're going to go through today is the Core Web Metrics by Site report. Now what this does is it gives you detailed day-by-day updates to the key core metrics of your site, including spark lines on the left, as well as a colored indication of where these are sitting compared to the thresholds that you define. All of the display metrics here are metric thresholds that are customizable, so not only can you optimize your Core Web Vitals according to Google's best practice, but also when you get them at the top of your game, you can continually optimize them further. Like we said, that continuous experience optimization. So we're going to jump into the portal now and go through configuring this report from scratch. And we're back in the portal. So in order to configure a Core Metrics by Site report, we're going to follow the same steps as we did earlier. Firstly, we're going to go ahead and click Create Automated Report. Again, we're focusing on the real user data today, but we also have the option to go and have a look at this from a synthetic point of view. And then we just scroll down to the bottom. If you'd like help configuring from a written article, then you can go ahead and click this example here. But today we're going to go ahead and click and configure a report ourselves. So again, we've got a report name, we've got a report time period, and that is the look back period. So how many days do you look back in the report? And then we need to set our scheduled frequency. So I want my report every week. We set our recipients. We set a subject line for the email. And then we select the site that we're interested in getting the report on the metrics for. It's important to note that you can actually select multiple here, but we're going to go ahead and choose one today. Now, this is actually one of my personal favorite reports to use in the Blue Triangle portal. And I'm going to show you why. So the default metrics here are largest contentful paint, cumulative layout shift, and first input delay. Of course, these are our sort of core web vitals. And not only do we get these core web vitals, but we also get a lot of other metrics as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click add metric here. And again, this really starts to show you the value of this report. You can actually have a look at not only your core web vitals, but other key site metrics that you may be tracking. So let's keep that persona going. I am a web developer and I'm interested in the logged in pages and seeing what's going on with the performance there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the onload value here, but I'm also interested in something else, and that's the first byte time. So how quickly, once my users are requesting the page, are they actually getting a response back from our server? So I'm going to add another metric there called first byte time. Now we can configure these thresholds. So I'm going to go ahead and configure my first byte time as 100 milliseconds. That's my target. And if I go for 800 as a upper limit, so I really don't want to be over there. Your onload is 3.5 seconds to 8 seconds. And then these are set according by default to Google's thresholds. But like we said earlier, if you're really doing well with optimizing your core web vital scores, there's nothing wrong with dropping these. So we can say 1,500 and 3,000 milliseconds. And what that's really going to do is help keep that continuous experience optimization going on your website. Now, we don't have to keep these core web vital scores and metrics here, so we can remove them if you want to. The latest thing as well, before we jump into this report and configure the filters, is that we can actually order the metrics how we see fit. So for me, as a web developer, my persona, I'm interested in the onload time and the first byte time. Now, the core web vitals definitely play a key part in what I'm trying to measure, but I think that the onload and the first byte is what I want to see first. I go ahead and click next, and this is that page you're familiar with now, maybe. This is the reports filters, and this is how we basically drill down and have a look at which segmentation of our traffic we're actually interested in surfacing these core metrics performance for. So I'm going to go ahead and type account because I'm interested in all of the account pages. And I'm interested in my performance across the entire space, so I'm not going to specifically select mobile, tablet, or desktop, but you can if you wish to. You can drill down on an operating system level or on a browser level. And you can also choose the geography filters here if you're interested in deep diving into a certain specific geographical area. And once that's done, it's as simple as click and create. And again, that was a really quick process. I really encourage you to go ahead, define one of these in the portal. And of course, we've got one that we've made earlier. And here we have it, the core metrics by site report. So this is genuinely one of my personal favorites to recommend to customers. Remember that recipients don't actually require a portal login to view this report. So if there's somebody that potentially right now doesn't have time to log into the portal, but it will be useful for them to receive this weekly report of what's going on the website that will help keep them aligned to the performance of the key areas of the site that they're interested in. So think people leaders, C-level, but also this can be used by analysts in order to look at a day-by-day view of how the site is performing on the key metrics that we've configured. So what you'll see is this separated by page. We've selected a bunch of the account page names, and we've got our metrics that we configured here. So our onload, our first byte, our largest contentful paint, cumulative layout shift, and first input delay. In the middle here, we can see our spark lines, and what they help us do is recognize at a real high level, real quick, what's happening. Is the site performing better? Is it performing worse? On the right-hand side here, we can see a 7-day trend of how the metrics that we've selected are performing against our configured thresholds. You can see in the last 7 days, the account page is generally in the yellow. And this obviously is a massive area for improvement. But if we scroll down and have a look at some of the other examples, we can begin to see how quickly this can give us value. So I'm going to stop on the account login page, which is obviously a vital barrier in getting people to log in and use our website. And we can see here quickly that according to the sparkline, your onload has gotten worse, it's increased. So what actually is happening on this page for that user? And we can see that it's generally isolated to that 22nd of January, but actually it's not come back down to the levels it was before then. So this may indicate an issue that we would want to look further into. And we can also see that our first byte time on the page is also not the greatest. It's outside, it's over that second metric threshold. So we want to potentially address that area as well. And then if we use the final example of the account logout page, we can see that the metrics are pretty all over the place, right? So these spark lines can really help you surface inconsistencies in the way that the users are experiencing your site. And then you can then go ahead and speak to the relevant resource, whether that be IT, whether that be marketing if you're tracking page views and sessions, and actually get to the bottom of that issue. And you can really see how quickly you can get to actionable insights with this report. So 100% get one of these configured, get it in your inbox, start your Monday right, and use the core metrics by site report to see if you can surface a single insight about your site this month. So let's really bring it back to the reason we're doing all of this, and it is for our customer. So let's take a look at our customer journey analysis page. This page records the journey. This is entries, exits, and page speed that users are experiencing and taking across the site. And it really allows us to visualize bottlenecks and also target areas of specific improvement. It allows us to identify our topmost converting paths. These could be e-commerce or transaction related, or more action oriented if you are a financial services background or a college attempting to get enrollments, for example. Now, at the start of the call, we defined an Amazonian expectation of digital experience. And I really wanted to highlight the goal of competitive analysis, whether that's looking inward at our own site, between our own departments, or looking outward at our closer competitors. The goal really is to remove friction from the user's journey on your digital domain. Our pain points on this chart are marked in red and orange, and our end goal is really to take them from areas of pain points to areas of the site that present as little friction as possible. With that said, what we've seen here is that we're giving our customer the best possible experience by removing those areas of red and orange, and this gives them a better chance of sticking around on the site, browsing, becoming a more loyal customer, and also reaching that conversion goal at the end of our journey. And in order to identify that friction, we are now challenging you. So these are 3 simple challenges that take into account everything we've learned today, and they're constructed in order to help make sure that you're crafting the best digital experience you can, not only for your customers, but also versus your key competitors. Our first challenge today is to configure an automated report. Whether it's the core metrics by site, or your sole focus is the core web vitals, and you want to zone in on this using the new report we've just shown off, we have a large number of reports that can be set up quickly to deliver insights straight to your inbox, and these do not require an account admin, so go ahead and get one of these set up today. Our other suggestion is to configure a CrUX competitive report today within Blue Triangle for yourself and 4 of your closest competitors' homepages. Feel free to get in touch with your CS representative or your account admin in order to throw one of these up. And remember, this doesn't just have to include your competitors. Maybe it's a bit of friendly competition between yourself and your group of brands or departments within the organization or regions, so Europe versus USA. Or maybe we see what the performance is like across the category pages on your site. Now, our second bonus challenge. If you've done some digging into the CrUX or automated reports and you've identified an area you want to drill down into, you can actually set up some synthetic monitors to dig with greater granularity into exactly what is causing any technical differences. If you don't have synthetic monitors within your contract, please get in touch with your CS again. They provide some really awesome benefits, such as the film strips feature we showed off earlier, and really act as that unbiased view towards your page's performance. And finally, take action on a single core web vital this month. So go through the process of identifying where you have the most potential for gain, look at remediating that, potentially pushing out the changes, and work with CS to understand the impact that the change had, both before and after. So today, we've gone through how you can surface competitive intelligence within Blue Triangle Portal, how you can configure automated reporting to deliver insights directly to your inbox, the type of impact that acting on those insights has, and why acting on them puts you in a better standing from Google's perspective and your end user's point of view. So, whether you like something you saw today, or you're cogitating for another optimization project, please get in touch with your customer success representative. We really are just as eager to get actionable insights to your site as you are. And there's 3 other videos in this series which go into a bit more of a deep dive into those particular core web vitals. And we have a lot of content on our help center as well, if you'd like to check that out as well. Thanks for listening.